Welcome back to the Restore Hyper Wellness podcast. Today I have a guest. It's real. She's a real person, and we love her. Maddie, the health coach from Crestview Hills, manager too, actually.
Yep. Just adding on more titles. Why
All the
not?
titles. So when did you start working with Restore? I forgot.
Not that long ago. So actually December was when I was a rep, and then I pitched the idea of doing health coaching because I studied nutrition online with IIN. And that was after a big weight loss journey, fell in love with health and wellness, and was just looking for kind of a unique path versus just going like physical fitness or just nutrition. I really wanted to find something that was also in the longevity biohacking space where I could really expand my knowledge and my skills and kind of meet with people in different levels of life. So I moved to Kentucky, and then I found Restore. Actually applied a couple of times.
How many times did they not accept you?
It was like I applied, I didn't hear back, and then I was like, you know what, I'll just stop by just to see. And it's cool thinking back, like if I had not had the courage to even just walk in and double check, like I'd be in a totally different space in my life right now.
So with that being said, I mean, consistency is key. You were consistent. You did not leave them alone, which I think is a pretty good thing in most qualities of life. Because most people just forget you're here. They get busy with other things going on. And that's a great testament to being like, all right, maybe I didn't get the job the first time, but you kept trying. And I mean, now you're a manager.
Now as a manager, I see people doing the same thing. And then I know my position where I'm like, I totally am doing a million things. And it's not that I didn't have the attention for you, but once the passion and, drive shows up, it shows me that they're fully interested. So
yeah,
it's kind of cool to be on the other side as well.
Well, so we have something, we have NAD Day coming up, August 12th. It's going to be the biggest NAD event we've had at Restore so far. We're going to go crazy. Everyone's going to be getting drips left and right. Everyone's going to feel so good, so energized during the drips. It's going to be a glorious experience.
It's going to be chaotic.
Do you remember your first NAD experience?
So when I first learned about NAD, I kind of took a deep dive right away. This is so interesting. I really was kind of focusing on why do we experience the symptoms during the IVs or the treatment? Like, what does this mean? That was my first kind of hyper fixation with it because I wanted to understand what is happening in the body for that to happen. And is it a good thing? Is it just a process? Like, what's going on with that? And I actually found out that is our bodies converting NAD into NR, so that it can actually pass through the cell to then be converted back into NAD. So that is like what we're experiencing when we feel those symptoms. Personally, I have a very hypersensitive system. So unfortunately, I've actually passed out twice at our studio alone. Extreme vasovagal response. It's not anything that has to do with any of the services that I did. I'll just kind of turn off for a second, shut down for a moment and then come right back. But that being said, I was like, I'm just going to go right to NR so that my body doesn't relate that experience with passing out. You know what I mean? So I have not experienced the NAD treatment specifically. I've been doing NR. And after the first shot, within 3 hours, I was able to feel that inflammation on my neural pathways decline. It was amazing because I feel like I have struggled with brain fog almost every day for the past 2 to 3 years. Honestly, since I got COVID, I feel like I haven't bounced back. And I also was very, very sick when I was in high school as well. So I struggled with my immune system, white blood cell count, like that kind of stuff for a long time. But I actually can achieve that mental clarity that I feel like I experienced as a kid, where you're just ready to go, one thing to the next, and without thinking I need to take a break, I need to eat, I need to sit down. It's like you're just ready for the next thing.
Yeah, everyone wants to be a kid again to a certain extent because you felt great. I mean, you can fall off the swing set and just bounce and like come back. And now I fall off the swing set, you're like hip breaks, or you have to go to like PT for 6 months and your back hurts. Like we're just not as resilient as you used to be. And part of that aging process, apparently, because NAD is finite in the body. Do you know what's the reason why we don't keep making NAD?
So it's interesting. It's not actually that we stop making it. it's that it's eaten up more in our body. So inflammatory markers and certain sirtuins end up needing more NAD to deal with more DNA repair, other, damage caused by toxins, stress and inflammation, which we hear a lot, being one of like the hallmarks of aging. It really is. And it's not this like umbrella term as like an excuse to blame something on. It's that the chain reaction of when we experience this inflammation and stress and what is actually happening on a cellular level is it's depleting our NAD levels. And we always will have NAD in our cells. Without NAD, you would die within 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. So it's involved in 500 reactions in our body, and is imperative to our bodily function. But yeah, I'm trying to remember where the question started.
You're good. I do the exact same thing all the time. The amount of times I'm like
bing, 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 bing to the next thing.
No, I start talking and then I'm like, why am I talking right now? What is going on?
What was I on? I don't remember.
Well, so one thing I'm always curious about too is everyone's always like, oh, oral NAD. I mean, I've never felt anything off oral NAD.
No, and you won't.
What's the reasoning?
So since NAD is such a large molecule, even like IV infusion, it's a process to get it into the cell. So supplementation in general, you're only going to be absorbing 20% of any supplement. Unless it is a gut-oriented supplement, then you should take it orally to heal your gut or whatever it may be doing in the gut. But NAD specifically, you're just not, you're not going to experience it all. Your body's just going to break it down and get rid of it, essentially. There is some talk about NAD precursors being supplemented orally. Even then, that's going to be a very small impact and small amount. That would be something that I would personally suggest for people doing in between their NAD and NR treatments, just to give kind of that like steady boost, or almost kind of like a pulse dose, similar to the like injections.
Yeah, because I know when I was doing a lot of research in NAD, I spearheaded that research with David Sinclair and his studies.
I love David Sinclair.
That's where I learned a lot of my stuff. And he talked about a lot NMN.
Yeah.
He's actually the reason I take metformin because I
AMPK pathway. Yeah.
Love metformin. I think it's awesome. I think having insulin sensitivity is like the number one thing to living longer, which NAD can help with that. But I told when I was talking about it, they were like, why would you take a diabetic medication? I'm like, guys, this is so much more than just a diabetic medication.
It's a huge longevity protocol. Yeah, it's very, very
huge.
impactful.
I enjoy his I was probably doing his longevity protocol when I was like 20 is when I started getting into it.
Wow.
And I was like, well, this is cool. And I just kept getting more and more nerdy into it. And then I was like, I want to try NAD, but I could never find a place. Yeah. And then I found Restore. And I started doing it at Restore when I was a customer there. And I love the shots. The drips are just so intense. I love them. They're great. You can get a lot in, but I'd much rather just do 2 shots a week or something and get that same dosing.
We're on the same page because I think if you're dealing with like a chronic illness, autoimmune disease, something where a flood of NR, NAD is going to have an impact. And the IV for NAD, since we do have receptors to uptake NAD in our brain and our heart, anyone struggling with conditions in those areas, I do think the IVs would be really helpful. Anyone who just kind of wants to do like more of a longevity protocol or start to feel better, just like from a gradual sense, even though it is immediately impactful, I think. But pulse dosing with the injections is the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think 2 shots a week, so that's what 250 milligrams for. It's like 1,000 milligrams a month.
Yeah,
I've been pretty happy. I remember there was a little bit where corporate was just, nah, this isn't a corporate podcast, so you shut up. But corporate was like, oh, I can only do 500 milligrams, and now it's a higher dose.
Yeah,
and I've been screaming about that forever because I'm like, I feel so much better with a higher dose.
Right.
There is like no scientific evidence that this is hurting me. So I'm like, okay, whatever.
It's just a coenzyme.
Literally, it's a coenzyme.
It's just going to get rid of whatever it doesn't use.
Have you ever gotten a sunburn before? It's more dangerous.
Yeah.
That's how we start monitoring people and their sunscreen intake. Like,
oh God, yeah. Don't get me started on that.
So are you someone with the speaking of sunscreen? I know Andrew Huberman's talked about sunscreen crossing the blood-brain barrier.
Yeah.
But everyone goes back and forth. People are like, oh, put on sunscreen over there for good skin, and other people are like, don't put on sunscreen; it's going to give you cancer.
Yeah.
Or some of the here's some data.
So. From my research and kind of like what I understand is obviously our ozone is not what it used to be. Mm-hmm. So we don't have the same protection from the sun that we used to. We also live in places that were not like genetically native. So obviously melanin comes into play here, like how much your body absorbs the sun and how quickly. And I think that plays a huge role. And sunscreen can be important maybe middle of the day when you're visiting Florida and you live in
It's
Ohio.
like UV of like 9 or 10.
What'd you say?
If it's a UV of like 9 or 10.
Yeah. I think, and it's not a place that you're normally at, or even like in your normal home, we spend 80% of our lives inside.
Mm-hmm.
We're not exposed to the sun to where we would develop that sun callus to be protected. So that's where I believe like skin cancers and issues come from, is that we will adapt to the environment that we're in. And if we're mainly in the shade, then we're going to be a shade adapted being. And that's why you kind of don't really see issues with skin cancer like other places that people are in the sun a lot more, in other countries and stuff like that. So, and their skin is obviously adapted to that. And it's another reason why like people with darker skin have lower vitamin D levels, because they can't absorb the sun as much, since they're traditionally in an area that has a lot of sun. So they have to be supplementing it that way. But yeah, I think sunscreen has its place in today's society with how little time we get to spend outside.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because there's times where I've gotten really sunburned and then times where I just don't at all.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of it, I think, just goes with like how hydrated I am. I mean, I love high dose vitamin C. I do a lot of those treatments. I do as much as I can.
Yeah.
Also, people who yell at me, all the, girls that I know will be like, Cameron, your like personal care routine's terrible. And I'm like, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, you got to condition your head and shampoo it every day because like the moisture is actually good for you and blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
But I didn't know that moisture retention was so important. And
Yep.
so walk us through how high dose vitamin C actually ties into moisture retention in the skin.
Well, it is a key factor in collagen production and elasticity. So it's essentially going to help with your skin barrier and like its integrity overall from my understanding. But that's really the most I know about vitamin C, like with collagen production.
Oh, you haven't? So I'm a big high dose vitamin C fanboy.
Well, tell me more about it.
Basically when you go into higher doses, because you physically cannot get enough oily in throughout the day. Like you'd puke because you'd have to eat like probably like 200 oranges or something, which I think we have like framed on our wall. I don't know anybody eat 200 oranges. If you can, there's something else going on. That's a lot of oranges. But that is originally prescribed for people with chemotherapy because it helps with the turnover of all the damage that the chemo causes with you.
Yeah.
So it's like for inflammatory markers, I feel like it's one of the best you can do, like internally.
Mm-hmm.
I've surprisingly gotten a lot of energy from high dose vitamin C.
Yeah.
And I was shocked by that. I was like, why am I just as jacked? And like high dose with NAD, I was like, okay, I'm like 18 again, nothing hurts. Like I feel great.
Right.
Yeah, like that was
like
great.
I'm superhuman or whatever, but yeah.
Superhuman or whatever. It's really fun. But those two compounds together worked really well. I forgot who I did the research from. I'll go through phases where like I'll like read an article. I know it really well for 2 weeks, and then I get busy and I forget everything else.
Yeah.
You gotta like keep reading it every day, or
to retain it. Yeah.
yeah, or it just gets lost.
Well, yeah, and it kind of depends on like which direction it's taking and what direction of interest that you have, because it's like, oh, this is why you started reading it, and then it goes a different way, and you're like, man, I really liked this part though. Like, why can't we dive more on this part?
Yeah.
That's how I am, where I'm just like, I'm not
exactly.
Really interested in that,
so, what are some resources you go to learn stuff about NAD and all these treatments?
So definitely love David Sinclair and Peter Attia. I go back and forth with Peter Attia because I'm also a huge Dave Asprey fan, and I do love their little rivalry. I think it's hilarious. But that being said, Dave Asprey is an incredible source of knowledge since he's like the father of biohacking. So I listen to his podcast a lot, which is The Human Upgrade. I will literally just look up David Sinclair on Spotify and see what he's been guest starred in, and then kind of like go down those rabbit holes. I like Andrew Huberman. It's a little bit hard for me to listen to his podcast sometimes because I feel like he explains things too much.
2.5 hours.
I mean, I'm sure it really helps some people like retain it, but I need a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
So I like Andrew Huberman, but Gary Brecka's pretty good. Who else? All I do is listen to podcasts. So
If you haven't done much research into Alex Keekel, he is crazy. He probably honestly trumps, when it comes to knowledge, he trumps probably about 99.9% of all people I know.
Okay.
David Sinclair's trumped by him easily. Insane. He coaches a lot of Olympic athletes who compete in like the top 0.1% of competitors in the world. He's a big bodybuilder dude, but just nerdy as heck, like the nerdiest guy you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
And he runs a lot of experiments on himself. So he did a test where he did 10 grams of L-carnitine every day for 3 months.
Like injections or orally?
Injections.
Sounds so painful.
So much volume. I don't know how he does it. I don't know. Blood work was perfect. Actually improved. Like he was like, guys, I feel great. I'm good. I'm using less testosterone in my TRT. Like everything is better.
Yeah.
And he'll just share those findings and then he'll use them with his clients, integrate those things. He's had like cancer reversals, kidney failure reversals.
Wow.
Name it, he does it. If you want a pool of knowledge of someone who just does some crazy stuff.
Does he have a podcast or is he more like YouTube or what is
YouTube, Instagram. His coaching is a big paywall.
Okay.
It's a lot to work with him. I have a buddy who works with him because he had a PFS. You know what that is? Post-finasteride syndrome.
No, I don't think I know anything about that.
It's a syndrome where people who've taken like finasteride, it's like a hair loss thing, or had too much of a stimulant, or something like certain, what do you call it? Antidepressants will cause it.
Okay.
But you basically, your dopamine receptors just stop working and you're stuck in this constant state of like kind of depressed, kind of not. And he was actually one of the customers I restored. He's great, comes in all the time.
Oh, wow.
He started using red light because he was like, you got to use red light. You got to start doing HBOT. Like Alex prescribed him these treatments to do. Got to do IV drips. But it was great because Alex was like prescribing half the stuff we already do. So I was like,
that's so cool.
I'm like, come on in, dude. And he's one of my buddies for a long time. Yeah.
Wow.
So what were some treatments you would pair with NAD to make it a good fit?
Great question. Definitely the hyperbaric, but I'm a huge hyperbaric fan in general. But doing that post injection or post IV will help it get into the cell much easier, and also pushes oxygen obviously into your plasma and will help repair any tissues that might have been damaged through the inflammation that you're addressing with NAD. Cryotherapy is excellent too, especially with its AMPK activation. That stimulates a coenzyme that's called CD73. Have you heard of that one? I don't know if you have.
I might have. Refresh me.
Okay. So it's really specific, and it is a baby in the study world right now, like of figuring out how to upregulate it and stuff like that. But essentially what it does is it's what can break down NAD extracellularly to get it into the cell. So it's one of the things that's in play when we do an NAD IV at converting it into NR to go into the cell. Things like berberine, cryotherapy, fasting, stuff like that will upregulate it. But again, this was one of my rabbit holes where I was like, okay, if we can't break it down, then what's going to break it down? How do we maximize that? How do I introduce it post and pre-IV to maximize my like NAD synthesis? You know what I mean? And cryotherapy was one of the first things that came up to support the breakdown of the molecule, which is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, so with enzymes like that, and you say like berberine keeps getting brought up every other day. People love berberine.
Berberine's that girl.
I've taken berberine for probably 2 years straight now. I love berberine.
Same. I'm like, it's something that's made, one of the things that's really made a huge impact on my health, I feel like. And I notice when I don't take it.
Yeah, well, and it's a lot of baseline issues just come from insulin sensitivity.
Yeah.
Like if you have great blood glucose regulation, you get away with a lot. Because my lipid profiles, because I do a lot of blood work, and my lipid profiles are better with more insulin sensitivity. So it's really not about like everyone's like, fats and all this diet stuff. I'm like, okay, guys, you keep yapping all day. None of you guys actually.
It's like, yes, but what's below that?
Like what's
what
the root
happens
cause
after
here?
that? Yeah.
What's the root cause? I'm like, yeah, you can eat a bag of chips, you're not going to die. But if you have terrible, like an A1C is really bad, or you wake up in the morning, your fasted glucose is like 120.
You've been eating a bag of chips for 20 years every day.
Yeah, but if you can manage it, like you're fine. Because I would wake up at like 60. Like I can wake up with like a 60 blood glucose and eat like 2 large pizzas the night before. But I'll tell you, I mean, I'm a really active, big guy, have a lot of muscle. There's a lot of things you can do to.
Well, sure, the muscle probably has like a huge part of it.
Huge part of it. But I'm saying there's like things people could do that make such a bigger move in their life than getting like so nitty gritty about everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, just how about you start working out a lot? Take some berberine, take some metformin, get some blood work, get some hormones, get your hormones like generally in check.
Intermittent fast sometimes. Give your body a break from digesting just a little bit.
Yeah, you don't have to eat. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm big. I know for a fact because I love my Whoop. It tells me everything about my life.
Oh, I'm an Aura girl. So.
Aura, yeah. I just can't do rings. I would break them when I like work out and stuff.
I have to take it off when I lift, which is really annoying.
I'm so lazy. If I take something off, I'm never gonna put it back on again.
I'm just afraid I'm gonna lose it when I take it off the gym.
That's a great reason not to take it off.
I'm like, I did not think this through, but
dang. But when I eat after, so I try not to eat when the sun's not up. I tried to follow that rule.
Yeah.
Because if I eat when the sun's down, my HRV is terrible. My sleep's not as good, and it's all stressful and everything. So
right.
I mean, I think that's a big move a lot of people don't do. And people who do late night snacks all the time, I don't think it's helping you out much. No. And so break down why giving your body a break from digestion can help.
So a lot of energy and work goes into digesting food. And that can take away from other processes that are happening in your body. So if we're constantly digesting food, we're not able to focus on repair and other things that our body needs to get done. It also can keep you at a higher state, like an elevated glucose. And yeah, I mean, that's really, I feel like all that's going on, like from a baseline, is that if we're constantly digesting, we literally can't do anything else.
Yeah, well, it's like you get the rest and digest state, and then the what's the other state? Everyone says there's rest, digest, and what else?
There's a sympathetic and parasympathetic.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
So sympathetic, parasympathetic, but you flip on and off. That's where the methyl detox testing come in. Mm-hmm. If you're a whatever it was, COMT. If you're my ass, but I'll edit that out. Woo. If you're me and you have the COMT mutation,
could have guessed that. No, I'm just kidding.
Everyone, when I talked to Haley was like, I looked at you and you had it. And I was like, yeah. Okay, she's like, use that certain look. I'm like, hey, whatever.
You're like, how do you say that?
I know, literally. We eat up NAD like no one's business. I think it's a good reason to get it because if you have it, it's like guaranteed. Like, don't even think about doing NAD. Just do it. Like, it's a requirement.
Right.
And walk through why people with that mutation have those side effects of using up so much NAD and all those other things.
Well, with the COMT mutation, you have either a really hard time methylating neurotransmitters or hormones, caffeine, things like that, or you do it way too quickly where you can't even use it. So people can be on either side of the spectrum with the COMT mutation. And we see both of them quite a bit, but especially for women with not being able to methylate their hormones properly, that is something that's of very valuable information to know. But as far as the NAD conversation goes, methylation is a huge part of using NAD. So if we are methylating so quickly and using up all of our NAD stores that we aren't even able to like use them for sirtuins or anything else, then you're almost guaranteed to have low NAD levels. That's what my understanding is. But what about from your side?
No, that makes sense. That's what I was.
Is that kind of where you're at?
Yeah. Okay. That's about as simply as I'm at. I mean, there's a lot of...
It's the circulating like hormones and neurotransmitters. People are like overstimulated. It's like, yes, you have a COMT genetic mutation.
Yeah.
That's what overstimulating is.
Yeah, literally. Well, and it's like, yeah, not managing that and knowing that's good because there's a lot of insight into like how you act, how to manage things.
Yeah.
Certain like foods as well. Like, don't eat this. I'm always evolving what foods I can eat. What I have like a big list of like this agrees with me and this doesn't. And it's just like certain things just don't work really well. Yeah. You really got to know your body and you got to be really intuitive and be like, man, I love Chick-fil-A, but if I eat it, I hate my life for about 12 hours. Yeah. It's sad.
Well, yeah, that I truly think if they just were to go back to how they used to make it, get rid of the seed oils.
The seed oil, because they used to do what? When I was younger, it was fine.
I mean, if you look at the ingredient list alone of what's in a Chick-fil-A sandwich, you'll be mortified.
Well, what was it before?
Chicken bread, eggs, and I don't know, hopefully not seed oils always, because Chick-fil-A is not that old of a company. But
yeah,
I mean, I don't know how old they are, but obviously McDonald's used to use beef tallow, which people talk about all the time, for their frying. And if you look at what people used to look like and their activity levels and stuff like that, then nowhere near what we're experiencing now. So I hate seed oils though. I think they're disgusting.
No, not a fan.
Industrial made seed oils.
Yeah.
not cold pressed artisanal sunflower seed oil, like that kind of stuff. I think those are totally fine, that kind of thing. But even if you see sunflower oil on the back of a bag today, it's deodorized, it's bleached. It's not at all what it tastes like because they hide what it is. All of them are rancid.
Yeah.
And that's where the conversation gets lost is it's not the sunflower, it's the process and how much of the like horrible shit they're doing to it that they're hiding, essentially.
Yeah, I think Peter Attia has like a perfect quote on like how to eat. And he's like, eat the things that come from the ground and then eat the things that come from the ground.
Yep.
And there's your diet.
I mean, period. Yeah.
It's pretty simple. You can
It's
just about
pretty
everything. Like I have a box of cantaloupe out there. I love cantaloupe. I'm a big fruit guy. Eat fruit all day.
Great. Yeah.
So good. A weird thing is like you can go to like whenever I go to Costa Rica, I eat 24/7 and still lose weight. I can lose 12 pounds like if I go for a week or something.
I've never been to Costa Rica, but
It's fun. Definitely go.
so okay.
You'll love it. But you can go to these other countries where there's not just not the same food regulations as America.
Yeah.
And you just lose weight. Easy.
It's sad.
Yeah. Well, you're walking a lot more. I mean, it's also probably a lot hotter in a lot of places.
Yeah.
But
But you're out in the sun.
you're out in the sun. You get more vitamin D. You feel good. You sleep so much better.
Yeah.
When you get like adequate vitamin D intake, you'll sleep better. Your hormones are better.
I mean, yeah, I'm always happier in the summer.
I know, but the annoying part about today's culture is that it's so like this culture doesn't reward you for being healthy. It rewards you for being a machine who produces and makes money.
Yep.
Which is, I get it. I mean, capitalism, woohoo. I have some fun here too. But like, I like feeling good. It's a fine line of like, how do I still, do all the things I need to do as a modern American, modern person, and like kind of be healthy. So how do you manage that?
I don't know. I feel like once you feel good and you think clearly, then you kind of realize how miserable America is.
Yeah.
So they don't want that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because then you can really think clearly and be like, this is kind of messed up, but we're here, so it's fine. And contributing to companies like Restore, where we're only seeking to help our clients feel better and feel their best and figure out what's going on with root cause illness. I think that is where like medicine and healthcare and stuff is headed or is trying to head. We'll see if it makes it.
It'll be there. I think doctors are going more and more downhill. My prediction, this is my hot take, AI is going to take out all doctors, eventually to everything. Like you'll have machines just running it all. People will be a lot more free to be people again.
Yeah.
And they'll probably value more tasks like spending time outside, connection-based things where a machine can't give you that. And it'll kind of full flip everything. Because all health is just data. It's just input of like, there's this thing wrong, this blood marker, this effect, this thing, plug it in. Most doctors don't even know everything at all. They'll look at something and be like, oh, you need some ibuprofen. And I'm like,
and then they're like rude about it.
They're so rude about it.
They're like, why be rude about it? And not just be like, this is just know that like you're there for an acute illness or issue. State that is what your purpose is. And then let the person go find what they need to feel better, because it's like everybody thinks that doctors are going to give them the long-term answers to things that they've been dealing with a long time, but all they do is symptom care.
It's reactive.
It's reactive.
There's no preventive health care.
But that's what they've always been made to do. I don't think there's really ever been like schooling around like the overall health of a human in doctors. America.
You look at most doctors, I'm like, dude, I don't think you've like been healthy a day in your life.
Yeah, I'm like, I wouldn't follow your morning routine if someone paid me. Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
It's so bad. And then they prescribe medications for everything. And I'm someone who's like, I'd much rather take a medication because I know it's going to help me out because I've studied it than you just say, take this. And it's just because you get a check from the compound pharmacy.
Yeah.
Because it works.
And it's honestly the like authority that is given to them to like allow certain things and compounds to go in our body is also kind of scary.
I had a friend one time who had just a crick in their neck and was prescribed Percocets. And I'm like, dude, you should have just gotten like a PT appointment. But it's crazy. They went to the ER room and like were like, hey, I have this thing. But that's just how like uneducated, functional doctors are. Because I'm all about medications.
Like, why would you even? You like what? And honestly, it's like, okay, well, Mr. Doctor, put yourself in her shoes. If someone prescribed you Percocet for a crick in your neck, what are you gonna? You're not gonna take it. Like, I feel like it'd be crazy.
Yeah. it's just wild what they can like. And also, you could just say
it's
certain
lazy
things
if
and
it
they'll just
feels.
give it to you
Yeah.
instead of like doing any kind of blood testing, a full panel, a whole understanding of like someone's day-to-day lifestyle. And the thing is, people will be like, "Oh yeah, Restore can be a little expensive." You pay $300 something a month in health insurance for someone to
Right.
be mean to you every day,
Or you're paying any kind of medication.
and then you get your
Any
copays.
medication. Yeah.
I
Like
mean,
you're-
yeah, honestly, I'd love to see a side-by-side comparison of health insurance to what Restore charges.
that would be good.
I think that'd be a good one because
That'd be a
it's
good
probably
post.
not that much. Because I'm 25 now. I'm getting 26. I have to get my own health insurance.
It's not fun. I'll tell you that.
You're on it. Right? How old are you?
I'm 29.
So yeah, you've been on the health insurance game. But they pay a lot, and you got to get copays for everything. Every time you go see someone, you get medication, and you're like, okay, I'm averaging pretty close to like $400 or $500 a month now.
Yeah.
I could probably have no issues whatsoever, and I'll be good. Because I think in my head, I only need health insurance if my arm gets cut off. That is it.
I hate paying for it because I know I'm not going to use it. I know I'm not going to use it. I'm going to find other ways to do it. So I'm like, well, why can't we offer a program where you get discounts on the facility, on certain
Well,
facilities?
especially if
that
people are doing so much
alternative?
for their health.
I
Like
know.
I have my TRT clinics. I have all the blood work I do. I cash pay for that.
Yeah.
I cash pay for every health service I have. I mean, surgery is the only thing that I can't cash pay for. But even then, most surgeries you don't really need, and you can kind of bypass if you're just smart.
Literally. You look at like traditional Chinese medicine and things like that. When are they really ever cutting somebody open? They don't do blood work. They can figure out the sex of a baby by your pulse when you're pregnant.
Yeah,
They don't need to take 8 vials of blood.
We got a lot of
I think that's
intuitive
crazy.
nature.
It's like this knowledge passed down for, however long. I mean, that form of medicine has been around much longer than our
Well,
form.
humans
But
have
it's like we
existed,
put it together,
Yeah, humans have existed for a long time,
Yeah.
and we're gonna keep existing for a while.
Right.
And we've grown old. A lot of us have grown old without stuff. And it's like, yeah, a flu can get somebody pretty bad if they don't have antibiotics. Like there's base stuff you need, but outside of that, the body has a lot of resilience.
But it's like, why? Why are they getting bad by the flu? Do they have a vitamin D deficiency?
Well, yeah, and
It was the number one cause of mortality during COVID.
COVID was in my head was such a not needed thing.
The fact that vitamin D was the number one cause of why people were dying was vitamin D deficiency. Yet #sunlight was banned on Instagram. Banned.
Sunlight was.
Yes. And I'm like, why? Because they're like, stay inside, quarantine and all this stuff. So they weren't allowing people to do #sunlight.
Dude, here's the thing. If
Like,
COVID,
what are we doing?
This is I don't care about any opinion you have. I'm gonna give you an objective fact right now. If COVID was that bad, I would have died. I've got like 4 times. But I'm a healthy person, and if
Yeah.
you're healthy, COVID was fine.
COVID was the flu.
My grandpa got COVID. He's had cancer 4 times. He's fine. Dude is resilient as heck. But
He said COVID.
literally, no. But everyone like attributed this thing, and there's so much like fear and stuff around it. I'm like, guys, first off,
It was a fever dream.
it was a fever dream. Also, everyone's depressed as hell right now. We're so sad. Everyone's sad,
No.
which is way worse for your health. Try being sad for a month and see how bad your blood work is afterward.
Literally. I mean, they said that like during COVID, anxiety went up by, I think it was like 30%, which obviously, sure, that makes sense. It was a very anxious time. It has risen since the pandemics stopped. But the fact that it didn't go back to what it was prior is so scary.
Yeah, and that can all stem back from like the lack of autonomy on your own health.
Yeah.
I know I was very
Or just
stressed
the
out.
fear of health in general.
Yeah, I
'Cause
was
I'm
stressed
sure
out.
there's a skyrocket in like the health industry after COVID too.
Yeah. There's so much go. I remember like waiting in line having, and also the weird car thing where you'd have to like
Oh
go
my God, the
through the
Vax
hospital.
card?
I'm like, why not?
I was working on a movie like during COVID,
Okay.
and you had to have obviously a Vax card and all this crazy stuff. And I had to get swabbed every single day and get tested every single day.
So you worked in film too? Because I was in film during that as well.
Oh, really? What movie or what film?
So I was a gaffer and I was on the G&E team. So I owned a
cool.
lighting company before I started doing all this.
Okay, that makes sense. That checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Around you. This is what I did for work.
Yeah.
But yeah, same thing. You had to get vaxxed. I was annoyed that I had to get vaxxed. I was like, why do I have to? He was like, show your card. And I was like, man, I'm going to forge this thing, honestly.
But like, why? Like, then you see like POTS and MCAS and lupus and all these other chronic illnesses that weren't really on the map before COVID and have skyrocketed since either COVID or the vaccine. one of the two.
It's one of the, it's so
like
much.
1 in 3 of our patients brings up symptoms of one of those diseases.
Yeah.
That we help.
And so like, I think the biggest takeaway here, we're about to wrap up, is that have autonomy in your health. You can choose to pay money somewhere else for a reactive solution, or go the preventative approach, spend some time at daylight, eat some food, work out. I can almost guarantee anybody thousands of in savings from health expenses by just doing the proactive things now. Like do
100%.
NAD, go to Restore, do the things. Like I love it, you love it. Trust me, we don't work here just because we're trying to make money. This is not a cash grab.
There's other ways to do that. Yeah.
It's not a cash grab. We love it and it works. And I would personally, I'd never sell anything that I wasn't just like fascinated by. So
True. Same.
Go. Well, so any closing thoughts about NAD we didn't cover yet?
Well, I'm very excited about NAD Day, and I hope it can help get people started on their journey or answer some questions about the therapy in general, since there's a lot of talk about it online, and it can get very convoluted. And I think there's some aspects of it that get lost in the communication with what it can actually do. And of course, I'm such a big advocate for the precursor, NR. So I'm excited to see how people can change their lives through this specific therapy. And hopefully it's like the simple change that they need to start feeling better. Absolutely. Well, hope they enjoy NAD. This will probably be playing as they're getting their drip on NAD Day. So, hey, hey, how you doing? You're gonna feel great afterward. keep going. I know it's tough. It's worth it. I've done it. She's done it. It's totally worth it. It's just like a bunch of clips of us like talking to the people getting the drips. I know this sucks. I know it feels like someone's sitting on your chest. Yeah. Yeah. It's a fun time. That's funny. You're with Restore Crestview. You can find them at RHW_Crestview Hills, right? Yes. And then if they want to follow your personal social media, your health coaching page, do you promote that a lot? I have a TikTok. I don't really have any other social platforms at the moment. But it's Healthy is Wealthy on TikTok. Healthy is Wealthy. Yeah. There you go. Sweet. You guys heard it first. Talk to you later. Bye.